Hello, we're back again. We're doing a little video, things under the humidity dome. I'm gonna take this off here. These are all like my little herbs that I grow. I do have a hibiscus growing in that red solo cup, but the rest are little herbs and stuff that I use in the microgreen salad. So these are a lot more susceptible to, especially here in Arizona. Um, there's no humidity, and the room, my grow room, I like to keep it low humidity to combat mold. That's going to help keep from getting mold. So these need to be in a humidity dome. You guys saw me take this off of there. It's got little vents on the top so you can add air. I usually spray the inside a little bit. That's why it's looking a little, little funky. But these are my little fabric pots. Again, I like to use fabric bags, so I sew these. I bought a big roll of, it's like pond liner. It's called underlayment. So I just take these and I sew my own bags for these. So like the nasturtium, I do these like that as well. So that, I don't have to worry about them getting mold. They're not going to get bogged down with water or anything. This is three chain daisy. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got some unique little tops. This stuff is still growing here. Like I said, this is my little hibiscus that I'm gonna grow one of these and see how it turns out. We have some amaranth over here, some red garnet amaranth, and then there's some also just it's supposed to be like a beige color, but these are a little bit more green. It's like a little herb. I put these in the salads. This stuff right here is oregano. It's starting to come in a little bit. It's still got a little ways to grow. These are leeks. I love putting these in the salads too. I leave the little the seed holes on top. Just adds a little bit of roughage. They're not too much in the salads. You probably don't even notice them too much. And then back here I have some basil, some mixed basil. I love putting basil in the microgreen salad too, but the stuff is all growing in here. But again, these are all in these fabric pots. And again, you can see here where the roots have grown out of the bags, and it's a little moist in there, so it keeps them nice and hydrated. You can see here with the leeks. So see how the roots are growing out of the bag? So they'll just die off, and then the roots on the interior will get more fibrous, so they'll get a little bit like thicker, a little bit more to them. But it's going to keep them from getting water bogged, like waterlogged. You can still overwater these. You don't want to water them too much because they're they're herbs, but that's one good thing about these little fabric pots that I sew. Anybody can do it. I have a sewing machine, and I actually sew these little pots with a sewing machine. It takes like a couple of seconds once you figure out how to make the little template. And I make different sizes, and I have different sizes based on what I'm going to grow. So like the leeks are much longer than everything else, so I'm going to grow them in a little bit taller bag. The oregano, you can see, is a little bit smaller, so it's like in one of the smaller bags. And just kind of based on size is where I put these into. Just over time, I've just kind of playing with things and growing stuff. And I've been growing microgreens since 2019, around October 2019 was when I started doing this. So you learn over time what to do, what not to do, and I'm still learning. I don't know everything, but again, microgreens growers, if you're watching this, if you're doing it for a little side business, this is just a little 10 by 10 tray. I have another tray sitting inside of this to give it a little support when I'm carrying it around, because these are pretty flimsy. I mean, if you add these little things right here to your salads, you're going to add a little bit to them. So I do mainly salad mixes. I do a 10 variety salad mix. I add shoots and everything, but this is what I add on the top. So you get some leeks in there, you get some basil, fresh basil, you get a little amaranth, and you'll get a little bit of this. So just in this little tray, I have 4 different things that I can add to the salads. They're going to add some variety of flavor and texture. These have a very distinct little flavor to them. The amaranth, you're not really going to get a lot of flavor, but amaranth is a herb, but you get that nice color. You get a nice little bit of red, a little bit of green. And the basil, everybody has smelled basil and tasted basil. It is delicious, but again, you get that purple in there. And then the leeks are, they're distinct as well. So you just take and you just chop a little section of this off. I'll just take a little section like that and just get my scissors and just clip like that much of it out and throw it into the salads. And leeks are onions, so it adds a little bit of oniony taste to your salads or whatever. But this is again something that you can do. It doesn't take that much space. I mean, this is a 10 by 10 tray. It's not even full. I could add much more in here. I have some other things growing that I'm going to add in here. I can add some more stuff. I'm going to do some cantaloupe and some other things that I'll add in here as well. And these will just stay in the grow room. Like I said, this stuff has to stay a little bit more hydrated and have more humidity so that they stay nice and they don't die off so fast. Plus, I don't have to water these as much. They're herbs. They don't need as much. These, like I said, I water them out a little bit. It'll run down and they won't get overwatered. So you can see these aren't like there's no mold in these or anything again. And this stuff is real dense. You can get bugs in there. You can creepy crawlies. You want to keep your rooms, very squared away. And I was, like I said, I was a lab guy and I was in the military, so I worked in that sterile environment. So I try to keep my grow room like spotless and always looking out, because I don't. And another thing is, don't take plants from outside and put them into your grow space, because if you have plants outside and you get creepy crawlies and you take your plants inside into your clean grow space, you're going to get little bugs and stuff in there. So don't do that. Don't take plants from outside and bring them inside. Just do one or the other. Grow outside or grow inside. And I suggest growing inside, because when you are growing outside, you are at the mercy of Mother Nature. And I've grown my nasturtiums outside before, and you'll have a nice plant growing, or you'll have something really nice growing, and you'll get some crazy storm that blows in at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and you go outside and your plant is just wrecked, or whatever it is that you're growing is wrecked, and all that time is just gone. So I tell people, look, get a grow tent. This is like a 4x4 grow tent. It goes up. I don't even have high ceilings. It fits in my dining area. I just got a little Vivo sunlight. I'll back out here a little bit so you can see. I just got a little Vivo sunlight. It's got four bulbs in it. In fact, one of them's burnt out. I haven't even replaced it yet. But I don't grow down here. I just use it to do different types of things, make videos and stuff. But it's got like, you can put inlet ducting for air vents in here. Like I said, I don't use this, but it's got plenty of them. There's one up there, there's one down there, there's one up there, there's one back there, there's another one down there. So there's quite a few different spots where you can put venting and everything. I mean, and also when you zip them up, so this side is zipped right here, but it has like a little fold, so it keeps light out. So they build these so that they stay light tight, is what I call it. So no light goes in or out. So you could have this in your dining room or in a bedroom or something, and you could have the lights on, and then you turn the lights off in here, and you're going to have your light and dark hours. It's really easy. There's a lot of growing stuff that you can get. I highly suggest people grow inside, because then you can determine your environment. You have a controlled space. You can grow. You don't have to worry about all of the things that people worry about outside, and your things are. Plus, if you're selling stuff to people, you are secure knowing that you don't have to worry about anything. I mean, everything is nice and clean. I foliar feed everything a lot, so I spray this stuff down with like spring water. So that's the reason why people, when they get my salads, they're ready to eat. I tell people, you always want to wash your produce, but people know from buying from me that you can eat your salad straight out of the container. And this is why, people, this is why you got to put some work into it. You can't just, growing is not plug and play. You can't just put stuff in the ground and put stuff in soil and expect it to do that well. I mean, maybe some things will, but you got to work with things a little bit, you know. So put a little time and effort into the things you do, y'all. Peace out.